Well, welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Sceptile in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. This Pokemon fascinates me because Sceptile isn't really seen as that good of a Pokemon, but the stats are good. We're talking about Gen 4 meta. We don't have any Gen 5 plus shenanigans going on, so 105 special attack, that's good again. 120 speed, that's incredible again. Like 100 is now like the good place to be. And 120 means just beating out everything, and that includes Gengar and Starmie, so shenanigans are going to keep on going. I've already used shenanigans three times, let's go. So, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your friends, comment your thoughts down below on the moveset. Why doesn't Sceptile work? Or, why does Sceptile work, but no one knows that it works? Let's go and break it down. So here's the straightforward idea. You go Unburden, we already saw this on Drifblim, you lose your item, your speed is doubled, hey, we got some baked-in synergy, which is always what makes Unburden super good. So you use Leaf Storm, go for White Herb, all lowered stats go back to 0, while Leaf Storm lowers your special attack by 2, instant item consumption, very powerful move for free, Unburden double speed, now Sceptile is insane. However, speed tiers. You want the Modest Nature for the most damage possible, but the Modest Nature starts backfiring pretty hard because neutral 120 makes you just faster than 105. Actually, no, it's a speed tie for 105, and then you're slower than 106, and that means we gotta go and break down the speed for Gen 4 Pokemon. After you scroll through the wall of Arceus, let's see, you are here. So, I mean, we got Electabuzz that you're speed tying with, Kadabra, Rapidash, Mismagius, Manectric, Lopunny, and then you lose to Infernape, which means you can't go for Modest. Gotta get the most out of your speed, but then what's the point of Unburden unless you set up the Unburden before Sweeper comes in, which is definitely doable, especially in a revenge situation where you bring in Sceptile after getting KO'd and then you get to guarantee it. But it means if there's like a Sweeper already on the field, like Infernape KOs one of your Pokemon, you can't bring in the Modest Sceptile on it, so you have to give up 10% of your damage, and now you're fast, and then you're just ungodly fast. So the hope is, you use your Leaf Storm, you proc all that cool stuff, and then the opponent brings in a Scarf, but you just win. So this is like already baked in kind of crazy Pokemon weirdness. Let's go to damage calculation and see what that means. So Leaf Storm against Garchomp with a Modest Nature is a 2-hit KO. The game is weird, and it depends on what has what. I don't know if Fire Fang is actually viable on Garchomp in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So yeah, because of tutors and TMs and weirdness and TRs and whatever, there is no Fire Fang on the Garchomp. Probably doesn't want to run it anyways. So we're getting in, like, the Pokemon's weird. 70-65, you're just having a bad time in general, which means we need to find like a real Garchomp moveset. Not one of these like random trash Smogon ones that's recommended or whatever. Ah, there we go. Scarf Outrage, and you're KO'd. So, I mean, even if, like, you do something cool and you get the Unburden going, and then Garchomp hits the field, you outspeed the Scarf, but then you don't KO Garchomp and then you go down, and somehow the Dragon Pulse is just, like, pitiful damage. I mean, it makes sense when you do the math. Leaf Storm is 130 base power, Stab pushes that to 195, Dragon Pulse doubled is 170. So, yeah, it makes sense that's less damage, but I mean, like, but a 105 special attacking Pokemon hitting a super effective hit, or one of the most powerful same type of boosted moves in the game, not enough. Now this does change against other Pokemon, like let's go into the Jolteon. We don't need anything because Jolteon doesn't really invest. We go to level 1, or we go from level 100 to level 50, and Leaf Storm still not doing it, and that's on the Modest Nature, so things look worse on the Timid. That kind of shows what the Sceptile does. So if we change this out to a Giga Drain, against most Pokemon, the goal is Leaf Storm, proc, coverage move, and then you're just KOing. But if they can survive and KO you just off of raw damage or coverage, then you're having a bad time. But if you survive, you're a 1+ Pokemon sometimes, and very hard to catch. I don't know. And then we go to the coverage. Alright, so special attack is our highest stat. What do we get out of the special attack? That's it. Leaf Storm, Dragon Pulse seems to be the only coverage, and then Giga Drain makes sense, but after that we got Dragon Breath, Hyper Beam, But if you're doing that, you might as well go for like the Frenzy Plant, and then your triple grass 1 coverage that doesn't really do much of anything. Okay, Swords Dance Sceptile, what happens here? Because now we got other synergies to bake in. Swords Dance, we're frail, we get KO'd, Unburden kicks in, and because of that, we actually don't have to worry about getting outsped on a modest nature or a non-speed boosting nature or something. So we go Adamant, Swords Dance, boom, all that cool stuff. Focus Sash activates, Unburden activates, we're +2 attack, we go for Stab Leaf Blade, and, well, first off, we die to Rough Skin on Guard Chomp or any kind of priority move, but still not a KO. And if we just go to another Pokemon again. Now, the Jolteon has more special defense than defense. And when we bring this back in line... Okay, so we start finding the KOs there. And then we just need to start, like, splashing in other Pokemon, I guess. Let's start throwing out some other Pokemon you might encounter. So we have the Azelf. That gets KO'd by the +2 Adamant Leaf Blade. I don't see any shenanigans going down. So 75-70 isn't safe. 85-70 isn't safe. 85-80 starts to get safe, so it's going to be like the 80-80 or something that is mostly not safe and has a high chance of getting KO'd. And yeah, so whatever Pokemon are running that, generally sweepers are going to kind of be under that, but some just have like weird bulk built in. Okay, so it's one of those things where you go through a lot, and then some Pokemon still just beat you, which isn't good, but it seems you can still coverage out well. So it comes down to meta. If this breaks meta, like just starts winning against like Pokemon that are in the meta, then I think that's viable. However, Focus Sash is a big liability, because if you don't get one shot, well, then you're not getting Unburdened, and then weird things are happening, and now you're stuck with the Adamant and you're speed tying 105s. Rough. Looking at the coverage, physical coverage on Sceptile kind of nuts. Crunch, fighting, ground, you just get Earthquake. Okay, that means we get to take out Starmie, we get to take out Gengar, we get to take out Infernape with the Earthquake. Okay, let's go. And then we got some other weird things we can throw at the Rock Slide. So like Drain Punch is here because like, oh yeah, it gets Drain Punch. We don't want to use that because Earthquake is already hitting Steel and Rock super effective, and you're not adding into any coverage. And if a Flying type Pokemon comes in, you're kind of F'd here, so don't. And then that's where you can also have the Rock Slide. So if Charizard starts getting popular, this wrecks Rock Slide, the +2 from this into something. Let's go and check out those numbers. I mean, Swellow gets ruined by the +2 Rock Slide, so that's pretty good. Good way of slowing down that Pokemon. Maybe just like eating some kind of hit. I don't... Yeah, the Air Slash is a KO, so that would be a way of baiting out the Focus Sash shenanigans. And then we just need to use Pokemon Showdown to our advantage. Like, okay, where is a fault here? Where can something go wrong? Well, if we go back to Swellow, that's a 60-60, so we need to find, like, a bulky, maybe spooky flying type? Dragonite. Alright, what do we do to the Dragonite? This is where things are probably going to get ugly, though, because we've already seen, like, comparable things. So, Dragonite, blank set, who cares about multiscale, drop it to 50. That's actually a surprising amount of damage. When we were, like, watching the other neutral hits and stuff break down, so, I mean... You don't have the direct KO, but it means something gets done here, and you really hurt the Dragonite, and it really feels that off the multiscale break, and then if you have an Ice Shard follow-up, alright. So, Sceptile maybe takes a Pokemon. If Dragonite's the response, just kind of bulk out on the Dragon Dance and take a gamble. At least it gets something back. And if there's Stealth Rocks, then that's just also a KO. So, shenanigans inbound on the Sceptile for this moveset, but this is unreliable. However, you actually just outspeed Pokemon like Dragonite and other setup Pokemon. So the game is weird. Like, that's what you need to know right now. The game is weird. You need the Swords Dance. You kind of need this coverage. The Earthquake is nasty. If you can find a way to go, like, Endure, because the Endure is going to guarantee 1 health and then guarantee some kind of berry activation. So, Endure Lychee Berry plus Swords Dance. So, like, Swords Dance, maybe take a hit, like if you know it's a survivable hit or the Focus Sash would go wrong otherwise. Boom. If not, you just, like, Endure, at least get a +1. That's actually where things start to fall off, I guess. Like, you need the +2 into the +3. +3 Leaf Blade starts threatening a lot more. I don't know. Swords, like, that's what I mean. The Focus Sash is risky, but as you can see, it pays off against a fair amount of Pokemon. This is more reliable, but the coverage sacking, kinda ugly. I don't know. What else can Sceptile do? Let's go and take a look at just using it as a sweeper. 120 speed. What do you accomplish here? Again, kind of weird stuff. Giga Drain, Grass Knot, because it might be more damage than Giga Drain sometimes. Frenzy Plant, just to like, just take out one Pokemon. Like if it's Sceptile and some kind of fat Pokemon in the end game, you want to use that Frenzy Plant and just win, because then the game doesn't matter. Go for like some kind of cleanup sweeping, because Sceptile with that 120 speed, strong cleanup sweeper, doesn't have like brutal KO damage. If everyone's missing some amount of hit points, then this is actually just strong. Also a weird thing on like the Unburdened, it's like, yeah, you can still go like Jolly Nature here. So go Jolly Nature, Endure Overgrow, get rid of Swords Dance, and like Leaf Blade +1 attack, Overgrow, Shenanigans, but then that really doesn't do much for the Earthquake Rock Slide unless it's a super hit. But Super Earthquake, Super Rock Slide +1 still kind of strong, more reliable. So like keep Overgrow on the table in some situations, because again, you got the 120 speed. So with this Overgrow, if you take a strong neutral hit, but that doesn't KO you, like anything weaker than a Garchomp Outrage, then you just survive, and now you're like overgrowing, and then the Giga Drain Overgrow interaction gets weird because it knocks you out of it. However, the healing from Giga Drain is going to keep Life Orb from potentially KOing you if you're like less than 10%. Grass Knot still damage, Frenzy Plant, Dragon Pulse, etc. So really, this is just like cleanup, trading, and just being strong. Like if water gives your team trouble, this is going to cover pretty much all of it. Like you just come in, Giga Drain, Starmie, KO. And these numbers kind of give an idea as to what the Sceptile can get away with. So I mean, now we're looking at a neutral hit being like 60-something%. Let's go back to the Jolteon. Weird stuff happens because you survive the Shadow Ball, but then the Giga Drain is going to heal up a lot of that damage, and then even after Life Orb and another Shadow Ball, you barely survive, and then you Giga Drain, and then you KO Jolteon. And when they bring in their next Pokemon, I'm pretty sure you're an Overgrow, but the exact numbers get weird because we have the damage rolls, we have the healing damage rolls. Jolteon also isn't going to be taking all of this damage like twice, because if it only has 40% health left, you're healing off that 40%, so you're not getting these numbers twice, and then Life Orb comes into play. But I mean, this is one of those situations where it's like, yo, you're going to be at like 20%, and then you're going to have the Overgrow boosted Giga Drain, Leaf Storm, or something. Or the Frenzy Plant. Let's say this is a Life Orb Garchomp because, yeah, Scarf outspeeds you and then you're wrecked. But I mean, that doesn't seem unlikely if they have a Jolteon and then maybe another Scarf Pokemon and then a Life Orb Garchomp. Because Life Orb Garchomp's still a filthy wall breaker. But Frenzy Plant comes in, that's a KO. Leaf Storm comes in with that Overgrow. That's going to be a KO. And that also kind of like shows some other options on the Sceptile that it might get itself into. Like if you switch out, or not switch out, but let's say instead of Frenzy Plant, you have Leaf Storm because you don't like the shenanigans. I just really like the recharging moves, because I think there's going to be a situation where it's like, yo, last Pokemon, or a situation where they can't set up, and then that recharge doesn't matter, and they're like choice specs locked and KOing you anyways or something. So like you guarantee the KO that you wouldn't have otherwise had. They can't punish you for the recharge, and then you just come out ahead because you chose to play the meme move. But I mean, like, let's say you go Leaf Storm. So you do that weird Jolteon trade, you Leaf Storm, you KO Garchomp, you're -2, you just switch out. Because the next time Sceptile comes in, it's still going to have Overgrow Leaf Storm on demand as one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. So no matter what you switch out into, I'm pretty sure you're taking less damage than you're dealing to the opponent on this, which KOs neutrally, as we just saw against the Garchomp. So maybe some hit and run shenanigans. That could be a play. Unfortunately, the multi-scale Dragonite is just like the Dragon Pulse doesn't do anything for you. Even without the multi-scale, like that's still a 2-hit KO. So I mean, you can get walled out by this if we pull up our boy Charizard. Anything brought down to 50. So I mean, like Life Orb Dragon Pulse, like the non-stab, just straight neutral hits a 3-hit KO. So I don't know if this is a commentary on the overall power level just being brought down in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl for the Gen 4 only meta, or if just these strong Pokemon that are still holding up in Gen 8 still bring enough power to where it's like, well, if we're talking about Pokemon Let's Go, where 3-hit KOs are super common and still like, wow, that Pokemon's 3-hit KOing, or oh my god, a 2-hit KO is like the new 1-hit KO. If that starts happening, yeah, then Sceptile's power not being absurd and glass cannony and rocket tag like we've seen in modern Pokemon, viable. If there's still rocket tag that develops because of Pokemon like Garchomp, Infernape, Dragon Dancers, Salamence comes into play. God, that's going to be very difficult to deal with. We can also kind of pull up, not here, the Salamence, but as we saw, it's like, yeah, even with the Charizard, if we double that damage or something, it's not looking the best. So depending on like how you can get away with something on the setup and then doing some damage, and you just like, it goes Dragon Dance, you don't KO it, and then it KOs you and gets a free Moxie and the game's over. So there's gonna be situations like that with the Sceptile, but it has this weird viability. So the straightforward stuff doesn't work. The setup might have something going for it, because like, yeah, you get the Swords Dance and then you get the Focus Sash and then you just start wrecking the opponents. Alright, pretty cool. God, oh man, like, what? The game's too complex to just kind of show every damage calc. I'm like really kind of fishing for some damage calcs right now to figure out what happens, because that's at +2 for the KO, however +0. So it's just Sceptile and Salamence in the neutral. You outspeed, you go Rock Slide. 30% chance to flinch and just take it. They go Dragon Dance. They now outspeed you, do the damage, you survive on Focus Sash, and then you Rock Slide again. So no Swords Dance setup, but Unburden getting procced, and then Rock Slide 2 at KOing the Salamence to stop its setup, because you kind of have that Sash safety going on, and then you get a hit, so Sceptile becomes 1+ on the Focus Sash. Because a lot of Pokemon can do that. So I mean, you find a super hit, you trade, you 2-hit KO neutral with the Adamant sometimes, or you just have like crazy coverage and then the game gets cool, and then this would be Swords Dance instead. So a lot of different flavors of Sceptile, but I mean, like, maybe you just use its stats to do a thing. Gastrodon doesn't exist as long as the Sceptile is out there. You still just have threatening damage, and you do have cleanup power. So, I mean, like, maybe you don't need to be crazy. Maybe this is just, like, the best Sceptile, because we're taking a couple steps back that people have forgotten about with Generation 4. Because, as I said in my tier list, I'm like, 120, 105 can't be bad under any circumstance, even though we're not seeing a lot of Sceptile play. And you have 5 other Pokemon on your team, so Sceptile is, like, the 6th Pokemon that fills a niche that nothing else does. And as long as you cover for the things it can't hit, which are a lot because of the limited coverage, like, it's just one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. At some point, Sceptile is just getting a free hit, and some of the other faster Pokemon, also just consider Scarf. Like, even if the Pokemon's outspeeding you with a Scarf, they don't have Life Orb. They don't have Specs. That Jolteon damage calculation that we saw, like, that then just becomes effectively kind of the damage on a stab move. And if they don't have a high enough special attack, like, okay, it doesn't matter that they're Scarf, you still take the hit, you do that weird Giga Drain trade, and now you're actually, like, ahead, or going 1-for-1, or something weird is happening. So, there's Sceptile. And then, like, equal with Alakazam Dugtrio. Oh, those speed tires get ugly. But, Swallow, that's a flying type, but we saw with, like, Unburden. I don't know, game's weird, guys. But it's also pretty surprising how few Pokemon are faster than the Sceptile, and what flying options does Aerodactyl even have? Defog, Roost, Tailwind, Aerial Ace, Fly, Wing Attack? Okay, so this gets interesting, and once again, Pokemon just starts becoming too complex of a game to really quantify, but it kind of shows you the ideas of what's going on here. So, 105... low base power, stab, super effective hit. Actually, effectively just a non-stab, super effective hit for a lot of other Pokemon as well. Aerial Ace doesn't KO, but pretty much every Aerodactyl's having Life Orb, and I don't even need to show it. Like, that's just going to turn into a KO. But if it doesn't, and this is where, like, just games come into play. Like, you see Life Orb on a different Pokemon on the opposing team. You've seen Aerodactyl come in. Maybe it's Sash Aerodactyl for, like, just the speed trading and going 1+. That's something that exists in Pokemon. So, Aerodactyl hits you. You survive 80% of the time. You're down to, like, no health. But then the Giga Drain kind of does the same thing in return. It's not a KO, but you get half your health back. And then you know the Aerodactyl is going to, like, throw an Aerial Ace or just be weak or something. And do you have enough health to go down to a neutral Rock Slide? You do, because of Life Orb burn after all the other hits. You throw the Leaf Storm in this situation, where you probably get KO'd. So you take like 90%, throw the Leaf Storm, that returns a KO, Life Orb KOs you, but then you just trade it against an Aerodactyl as a slower Grass-type Pokemon into a faster Flying-type Pokemon. thus kind of removing the weird threat of the speed tier interactions for Gen 4. I don't know. The game is weird, but a lot of things happen. Let's say you go for the Giga Drain. Well, I mean, now you got a 50% health Sceptile, and you're switching out against a non-Lifeform Aerodactyl that's not going to have a lot of neutral damage. So then your Sceptile, like, you just come out ahead on damage with these Giga Drain trades into switches, into bringing it back in for a Leaf Storm and then a KO. So yeah, that's what we learned. Use those stats, and maybe someone just doesn't respect it. Like, look at this kid playing with his favorites. He's got a Sceptile, man. He's not even competitive. And then it's like, oh no, I have 3 Pokemons left that are slower than the Sceptile and sitting around 60% health. He's going to Giga Drain trade one of them, and then Leaf Storm, and then switch out. Even if I KO the switch Pokemon, Sceptile comes in, and then I lose. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.